Hello everyone, and welcome to Wu's Japanese e-learning. Today, let's take a look at how, through just about 60 hours of online courses, we can first learn to precisely analyze and accurately read Japanese. Then, by pairing this with AI's capabilities for rapid translation, fast writing, and even simultaneous interpretation, we can, with the assistance of AI, enable ourselves, immediately after the 60-hour course, to first become English, Chinese, Japanese, trilingual international talents in reading comprehension, translation, and writing across various professional fields. Ultimately, we will advance toward becoming complete trilingual international talents proficient in reading, translating, writing, listening, and speaking. The fundamental design of large language AI is to predict the most likely next word. AI does this by reading massive amounts of human text to find the probability of word connections. However, AI does not possess the ability to precisely understand the underlying logic of Japanese. In situations involving responsibility, credibility, money, and so on, where high accuracy is required, AI might hallucinate, giving answers that seem reasonable but are actually wrong. Therefore, AI cannot be 100% accurate. It must rely on a human who understands the underlying logic to verify and fine-tune the results. Even though AI predicts based on probability, it can instantly write or translate articles that are over 95% fluent. In other words, if we can efficiently learn to precisely fine-tune that final 5% or less, we will naturally stand out from the competition. This is especially true for professionals like MBAs, CPAs, lawyers, and patent engineers who already have professional expertise and bilingual abilities in English and Chinese. Now, simply by comfortably taking 60 hours of online classes, you can acquire this fine-tuning ability and become an incredibly rare English, Chinese, Japanese, trilingual international talent in your field. The population of countries where English is the native or official language is about 2.45 billion. The population where Chinese is the native or official language is about 1.44 billion. And the population where Japanese is the native language is about 124 million. Combined, that's a base of about 4 billion people. Out of this enormous base of 4 billion people across the Chinese, English, and Japanese language spheres, there are only about 42,000 talents actively working in the global workplace who possess this trilingual ability. These talents are scattered across major global multinational corporations, diplomatic institutions, high-level financial systems, and cutting-edge medical technology sectors. If you distribute them evenly across a single country or a single industry, the number is microscopic. The ratio is only about 4.2 out of a million. That means you have to search through a massive crowd of nearly 238,000 people just to find one such trilingual talent. In today's world, the dividing line that truly sets people apart and gets them into the core decision-making circles isn't about whether or not you have the tools. It's about whether you can use those tools well to magnify and seize opportunities. The key lies in whether you have the ability to fine-tune AI-generated Japanese. As long as you master this core ability, you can ensure that in the AI era, you are among the very few talents who can represent the company externally without relying on AI. This will significantly boost your career prospects, increase your leverage to enter the decision-making circle, and allow you to embark on an exciting life journey with a salary 3 times higher or more, much sooner. Why is this fine-tuning ability so critical? Because real-world business is full of hidden landmines. The hidden landmines of business Japanese. A single Japanese alphabet letter, a kana, can determine success or failure. AI can instantly generate what looks like a complete, professional business contract. But faced with a document that requires such extreme precision, can we really feel safe just signing it and sending it straight to the client? AI is great at generating content, but AI cannot take responsibility for us. In business Japanese, the places that truly cause problems are usually those seemingly insignificant Japanese hiragana characters. For example, a difference in a single particle or a word ending can completely change who is held liable. Or, for instance, even when Japanese omits the subject and only uses a verb, in many cases, the verb itself can indicate who the subject is. Because of this, subjects are often omitted. However, in a contract, this can lead to major disputes. If you don't have the ability to precisely analyze and accurately understand the text, and you just submit it because it looks fine, you are very likely gambling with your company's interest. Why do so many people find it hard to learn Japanese well? This is because traditional Japanese teaching methods don't tell us the underlying principle. How did the Japanese envoys to the Tang dynasty, 1,200 years ago, convert Chinese characters into Japanese? Instead, they teach Japanese as if they were teaching English. That's why the example sentences in Japanese textbooks usually start with things like, "This is a book, I am a teacher, you are a student." But the catch is, Japanese nouns don't need indefinite articles. They don't need a or thin in front of them. There's also another myth. Because Japanese uses hiragana, katakana, kanji, and mixes in various foreign loan words, some argue that Japanese is impossible to master. Some also argue that Japanese grammar rules are unclear, making it the hardest language in the world to learn. But this is actually a huge misunderstanding. Whether it's katakana, kanji, or loanwords, simply by adding a part of speech marker to the end, you can use it freely according to the grammar of that part of speech. There are very few languages in the world that are this simple and convenient. These misconceptions mostly come from not understanding the underlying logic of Japanese, leaving learners to rely only on rote memorization. As a result, even college graduates can't learn to precisely analyze and accurately read Japanese college-level textbooks within 60 hours. Some people even study in Japan, live there for over a decade, take the JLPT N1 10 times, and still failed. In the AI era, for Japanese learners who already understand Chinese characters, whether you study by going to Japan, taking one-on-one classes, using full AI methods, or any other way, and if you are under 40 years old, if you have invested more than 3 months, or about 250 hours, and still don't have N2 level ability, or if you've studied for over 6 months, or about 500 hours, and still don't have N1 level ability, we sincerely advise you to cut your losses immediately. Switch to the Decoding Japanese Education Engineering developed by Wu's Japanese. Because when you use the right method, not only does it become easy, but you can also learn it extremely fast, have fun, and achieve high precision. It's just like a Formula 1 champion driver. They don't win just by slamming the gas pedal, but because every turn they make is extremely precise. Imagine going to a supermarket checkout. We don't need to calculate based on the order we picked up the items. We can just look at the price tags and add them up. That's because we understand the principles of the numbers 0 to 9. Learning Japanese quickly works on the exact same principle. So, what exactly are the 0 to 9 of Japanese? First, we must understand that English is a natural language that blends multiple languages. Take the past tense, for example. You might add ed, or there are many irregular forms. The exact same word can even serve as a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. There are even situations where letters are written but not pronounced. This requires the learner to have incredibly high deductive reasoning skills, which easily leads to frustration and might even permanently close the window to enjoying foreign cultures. In contrast, Japanese is a semi-artificial language that was highly scientifically and systematically designed starting 1,200 years ago by the Japanese envoys to the Sui and Tang dynasties, essentially, the historical designers of the language. Japanese absorbed Chinese characters and foreign words like English and retained their original pronunciations, like kenpai from Chinese or driver from English. The grammar of this artificially designed Japanese is extremely regular. The past tense always adds a marker similar to ed. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs all carry their own specific part of speech markers. Through these rules, we can quickly and precisely grasp the meaning of the text simply by looking at these markers. And when it comes to verb conjugation, the core consists of only 5 vowel codes. A, I, U, E, O. That's even fewer than the numbers 0 to 9 we learn in elementary school math. Let's take a look at this scientific method, the Decoding Japanese Education Engineering, developed by Wu's Japanese. This Japanese education engineering was developed by Wu Chichie. He studied chemical engineering in his youth, later studied abroad at Sophia University in Japan, and went on an exchange program to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst in the U.S. After gaining practical experience working in multinational corporations like the U.S.-Japan joint venture Yamatake Honeywell, Japan's Chua Trust Bank, and UBS Tokyo, he later started his own business and established the Japan Know-How Research Institute, where he meticulously developed this system. Through this decoding Japanese education engineering, we simply break down the DNA hidden within Japanese, the 5 codes of A, I, U, I, O, and 4 symbols: a circle, a triangle, a plus sign, and a square. Japanese is no longer a dense jumble of text, but a logical system full of reading markers and clear structures. We don't have to read from the very beginning. We can cut in from any word or comma, start our deduction, and precisely decode the entire text. And the precision of this analysis is so high that even a single comma can be precisely analyzed, accurately translating into its corresponding meaning. Even more amazing is that the total cost and time required to reach N1 or N2 levels are less than 10% of traditional teaching methods. Please allow us to emphasize this once more. With the decoding method developed by Wu's Japanese, the total cost and time required to achieve N1 and N2 are only about 10% or less of traditional methods, saving you around 90%. What's even better is that, as Japanese learners from the Sinosphere, we don't need to start learning from basic Japanese vocabulary. Because the 3 core elements of a language are grammar, writing, and pronunciation. For those of us who know Chinese characters, we actually already master about 2/3 of the elements, writing and pronunciation. All that's left is the highly regular grammatical changes. Combine that with about a junior high school level of English vocabulary, and by reverse engineering the design principles of Japanese, we can quickly acquire the ability to precisely analyze it. Over the past 35 years, in the era before AI, Wu's Japanese students have achieved this. Those with intermediate English skills went from 0 to N2 proficiency in just about 3 months, investing about 250 hours. Those with upper intermediate English skills passed the highest level, N1, in under 500 hours. Even students who considered themselves poor test takers passed N2 and N1 within 500 to 1,000 hours. Compared to cases where people study in Japan for 6 or even 17 years and still can't pass the N1, this is still an incredibly rapid achievement. For junior high and high school students, investing just about 60 to 80 hours, this already includes lecture and review time, is enough to precisely read Japanese newspaper editorials with the help of a dictionary, and the language proficiency required to read editorials is classified at the highest level in the CFR framework. If you focus purely on reading comprehension, just 60 hours is enough to understand how to precisely analyze Japanese college textbooks. With 180 hours, you can fluently read Japanese documents related to your own profession without even needing a dictionary. Now, with the help of AI, as long as you have basic English skills and take 60 hours of classes to learn precise fine-tuning, you can gorgeously transform into a trilingual international talent in your industry. For students or teachers on summer break, 60 days, studying about 4 hours a day, is enough to go from 0 straight to N2 proficiency. If you need to pass N1 as soon as possible, accumulating 500 hours in the half year before the exam is completely sufficient. By utilizing Wu's Japanese and the roughly 115 days of weekends and holidays a year, it's absolutely not difficult for a working professional to pass N2 within 6 months and reach N1 within a year. Please be sure to click and read the testimonials from various patent engineers in the Wu's Japanese sharing series to truly feel what an intellectual journey this is. For example, a 48-year-old English electronic patent engineer who graduated from National Taiwan University's Electrical Engineering Department said, "A systematic learning method saves so much time. This kind of teaching is too amazing. I really wanted to finish it all in one breath. Why didn't I wake up and join sooner back then?" And a 31-year-old patent engineer from Chiao Tung University's Institute of Nanotechnology said, "Although the teacher kept saying the results would be fast, 2.5 months ago, I really thought it was a fantasy. You have to experience it yourself to feel it so strongly. Once you learn precise analysis, you can hand over the translation, letter writing, and summarizing to AI, and then use our professional precision to fine-tune it. This is a practical, operational skill that will benefit you for a lifetime. And behind this double-speed growth is a method fully compliant with science and educational engineering. The learning logic for adults is understand first, memorize later. The natural sequence of learning a foreign language for a young child is listening, speaking, reading, writing, which relies on memorization and takes years. For adults, the sequence should be reading, writing, listening, speaking, focusing on understanding, which allows for quick, practical application. After using decoding techniques to quickly learn how to precisely read Japanese, and then pairing it with highly efficient listening training, you will naturally and quickly master listening comprehension. Once your listening comprehension is proficient, spoken expression, naturally forming sentences and conversing will follow effortlessly. Furthermore, the genuinely practical capability level for the JLPT is ideally an N1 score of 137 or above, the top 0.77% to 1.6% of test takers globally. In the past, even after passing N1, it still took 10 years of real-world experience to be able to quickly draft commercial documents that hit the mark. But now, with precise analysis skills plus AI, it only takes a few minutes to produce high-quality results. Once you learn this highly regular, semi-artificial language of Japanese, going back to learn languages with less regularity, like English, will naturally become much easier. Not only that, when we acquire high-level Japanese analysis skills, it brings another unexpected bonus. Regarding the English-Japanese comparative learning method, the secret to simultaneously upgrading your bilingual skills. Common sense might suggest, learning English is already hard enough, wouldn't learning Japanese on top of it tie my brain in knots? Actually no. Because you possess the ability to precisely analyze even a single comma, you can later engage in the English-Japanese comparative learning method, highly recommended by Wu's Japanese. Chinese characters do not have part-of-speech markers. Although English has ly for adverbs and t for adjectives, it often lacks such specific formal markers. But Japanese, as mentioned earlier, has rules with a high degree of consistency. For example, in Chinese, 寻求自由者 将自由地探索自由世界，让自己自由，从而成为真正的自由人。Those who seek freedom will freely explore the free world to free themselves, thereby becoming truly free people. We can understand the meaning of the 5 freedoms, but it's hard to distinguish their parts of speech just by looking. In English, those who seek freedom, once freed, will freely explore the free world to free their minds. We can feel some of the part-of-speech markers. But in Japanese, 自由を求める者は、一旦自由になれば、自由に自由な世界を探索し、心をも自由にすることで。If you don't understand the principles of Japanese, it looks like gibberish. But in reality, every single word has a part-of-speech marker, making it crystal clear and easy to understand at a glance. When the brain performs logical deduction and comparison, since 2 of the 3 languages, English and Japanese, are foreign languages, or just Japanese for students in places like Singapore, and the native language naturally emerges, the brain is actually operating in a trilingual comparison mode. It's highly efficiently and multidimensionally comparing and making associations. This doesn't increase the difficulty. Instead, through continuous verification and analytical techniques, it helps you become an English-Chinese-Japanese trilingual talent much sooner. This is also why learning this method will be incredibly fun, even addictive. The authentic feedback from countless senior students proves that this system will make you forget to eat and sleep. For example, here's some feedback from our alumni. The decoding method doesn't just teach Japanese, it teaches the techniques to scientifically analyze a language. Foreign language learning, which used to feel boring and painful, will become as scientific and fascinating as solving a case like famous detectives Conan or Sherlock Holmes. Learning Japanese with the decoding method isn't just about learning a foreign language, it's about learning a method to quickly master foreign languages, letting you experience and confirm that foreign languages really can be learned highly efficiently with the right method. In just 24 hours, I can already break down sentences, and looking at a Japanese picture book, I can understand 40%. I study happily every day. UK Stirling University student. Every day after work, after dinner, I automatically want to sit at my desk. I don't feel it's dry at all. I just want to keep listening. I can't stop. Tunghai University International Trade Department, 106 hours listened. Watching every day after work. Wow. So this is how Japanese can be learned. It's truly magical. National Chongqing University Entomology Department. I realize Japanese is just continuously plugging in formulas and decoding them. I look forward to rushing home from work every day to listen to the classes. My friends say I'm progressing so fast, and I'm honestly secretly thrilled. Shichien University Accounting Department. While watching the classic literature, Testament, halfway through the class, my face was covered in tears. For the first time in my life, I studied so hard and so happily. Every day is very fulfilling. Overseas Chinese University, international student from the Philippines. Absorbed so much in just 10 days, it's unbelievable. On weekends, I listen from morning to night. I don't take breaks except to eat. I don't want to stop at all. Southern Taiwan University of Science and Technology, 10 days listened. When you realize that you can indeed precisely translate even a single comma, you will develop an unprecedented level of confidence in foreign language learning. Armed with this confidence and technique, we have planned a practical combat plan for you. The Decoding Japanese Education Engineering focuses on understanding. This 60-hour course can be completed intensively in 1 to 2 weeks. After that, you can start using AI to complete masterful reading, writing, and translation of Japanese business documents, agreements, and contracts. To ensure your results, this course offers an incredible bonus. We include a 1-year, 52-week English-Chinese-Japanese trilingual online text and video course. Please treat it like an in-class analytical exercise. Go through it word by word, marker by marker, clarify the corresponding relationships, and burn the techniques into your brain. After experiencing the results of the 60-hour reading comprehension, we will further assist you in developing independent, hard skills in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We also include 480,000 words of essential Japanese daily life content, along with an all-Japanese listening comprehension training. 1 hour of our standard speed listening training exposes you to 18,000 words. If you double the speed, it reaches 36,000 words. The prerequisite for being able to absorb such a massive amount is precisely because we've acquired the ability to accurately understand the connective principles. At this point, you actually already possess the ability to take the N2 exam, and we strongly suggest you go take it and get your N2 certificate. If you want to challenge the N1, after completing the advanced, comprehensive N1 first-class course, you will have the Japanese proficiency required to pursue a master's or PhD at top institutions like the University of Tokyo. And this high-level ability is exactly the key to opening the doors of top universities and multinational corporations. Let me share with you a strategy for automatically upgrading to a top Japanese university or entering a top Japanese corporation. Countries are competing for talent, and the decisive factor in interviews for prestigious universities is still your Japanese communication ability. Even if your academic grades aren't the absolute best, as long as you have the masterful Japanese skills brought by the decoding method, you can automatically upgrade to a higher-tier institution or company. This is an online course system that has already helped many alumni upgrade into world-class multinational companies and top Japanese universities. For example, as of today in 2026, there are only 2 Taiwanese international specialists in the international departments of Japan's top 3 pharmaceutical companies. That means the top 3 Japanese pharmaceutical companies don't even average 1 Taiwanese specialist per international department. And both of these 2 individuals are WU's Japanese alumni. choosing the right course changes your life. The difference between learning Japanese a year faster or a year slower is a 2-year swing in your youth. If you then combine this with the magnifying and accelerating effects of AI in reading, translating, and writing, the difference in your career trajectory is truly incalculable. Are we going to spend countless 60-hour blocks scrolling on our phones, relying on AI for the rest of our lives? Or are we going to invest 60 hours up front to become an operator who can precisely fine-tune AI, mastering it for a lifetime? This is absolutely a choice worth pondering deeply. If you still have doubts about the precision of this method, we accept the strictest challenges. For prospective students like master's/PhD candidates, patent engineers, and others who require absolutely precise Japanese skills, we welcome you to email us the Japanese materials you want to master or the most difficult documents you face at work before enrolling in our N1 First Class course. Once Woo's Japanese confirms that the course meets your needs, we can provide you with a precision guarantee. Prospective students, you do not need to unconditionally believe in the high effectiveness of the Woo's Japanese decoding method. We even recommend that you try learning with traditional methods first, or try self-studying with AI, or directly study at a language school in Japan for half a year or a year. Once you realize that after investing 60 hours, you still cannot precisely read Japanese college textbooks and feel full of frustration, come join Woo's Japanese then. By that time, because you will have the ability to compare teaching effectiveness, you will be able to feel the unparalleled power of the decoding Japanese education engineering even more strongly and profoundly. In the description box below the video frame, under the "da," you'll find the Japanese sharing series, which contains even more world record level stories of perfect scores and rapid passing experiences. As our New York CPA alumnus said in his testimonial, "I can explain the meaning of every sound and every punctuation mark. It's truly a miracle." And just like our 52-year-old mechanical engineering alumnus, who sighed after 3 weeks, about 30 hours of classes, I deeply realize that Woo's Japanese is truly incredible. Regarding the scores or testimonials of the alumni in the Woo's Japanese sharing series, Woo's Japanese guarantees, all actual results are true, no matter how fast they passed. All testimonials are from the actual students, no matter how incredible they seem. On YouTube, search for Woo's Japanese, and you can find free trial lessons. For example, learn 1,500 Japanese verbs in 15 minutes, or, if you were an envoy to the Tang Dynasty 1,200 years ago, how would you design Japanese? And so on. That's all. Thank you for listening. Click the link in the description box right now, give yourself wings like a tiger, and become a talent who can master AI to quickly become an irreplaceable English-Chinese-Japanese, trilingual international professional in your field.